Hello and welcome to episode 57 of the Talking...
No, it's not. 87.
57.
Where did you get
57.
57 from?
I mean, I could start again,
No.
but I'm not going to start again.
No.
50. I was like, that's not right, is it? That's a great start. I'm doing fantastically well. 87, yeah?
Yeah, that's it. It's
87. Okay. I was going to say, I was like, so I hope
You just said 50. I was like, that don't sound right.
Where have I got 57 from? But yeah, I hope this podcast finds you well. Dex and Jake joining you as always. It's been a winning week for Wednesday.
Yep.
So we can be happy in that respect. I've thrown myself off now. Where did I get 57 from?
I don't know.
There's no specific reason I should have 57 in my head. Anyway,
Especially since you got the document in front of you, it actually says 87.
I've cropped that bit so I can make sure everything's in focus. Behind the scenes magic. Yeah. Apology. I know nobody commented this actually, but I know you'll have noticed it. If you are a visual watcher of the podcast, yes, when we re-uploaded the podcast, the microphones were out of sync with, and that annoys me.
Yep. Annoyed me when I saw it.
So much, right? But I didn't fix it because it would have been a stupidly long fix with what we needed to do, and we just got the podcast up. If that really bothers people in future, I will just remove the audio element when we do the when the re-upload goes, just so people can look at our still images instead of having to, see out of sync voices. But nobody actually complained about it. But I was really annoyed.
I watched it back. I was like, "Oh, this isn't our usual quality. Why does StreamYard do us like this?"
Well, that's why I never use it.
Yeah,
but it's good to do a live podcast and be able to do it that way. We did record it live into everything as well, but for some reason it just did not like to sync up with the footage. So we might do something where we can sort of try and get a dual recording going on at the same time. And actually
also
record
on live streams, especially since it more than likely the Tuesday night we'll be doing it when there's a game. We just done the game for like an hour or so, and then we go straight into the podcast. It's a long night.
Yeah, that was the only reason. I needed to get the podcast up because I was working obviously all day Wednesday, which didn't actually end up happening, unfortunately, because I came down with the plague. So we'll get to that after. How's your week been, Jake?
It's been good. I got a really nice birthday present for myself on Sunday. I booked myself a COVID jab. So I've got to go get dabbed and stuff. I think I've also stupidly done my flu vaccine on the same day.
That's the best way to do it, though. Just get...
But I think get it out the way out, yeah. It's been good. Slowly but surely getting things into sync a little bit. I've been setting up new scenes in OBS. For certain things, like if you were at the Friday live stream, I've now got like a cigar lounge kind of thing for a chill out stream that I'm doing. I'm trying to make it a little bit different, to like different scene for different aspects. So when there's a game, I've got the picture behind me. When it's news, I've got my news room scene, and then I've got like a chill. I'm trying to make it so you know what my content is. I've been watching marketing stuff and watching other people, and I've been getting inspired. So
you've been falling into the YouTube holes late at night and deciding, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
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 Don't blame you.
But they're working and they're doing well. And the one thing I've always been quite proud with the channel, I've got very good quality on audio and, audio now. I didn't used to, and visual. So I've got the nice balance of 50-50, which is more like 6.
Yeah.
I always say 70-30, because you always want better audio than you want video, personally.
I always give you like really good audio advice and then never actually take my own advice because you do it all in pre, I do it all in post. We were just discussing this. And usually I would do it in, this is again skip if you want the football talk. I would do it in pre, but my setup is set up for mainly music recording. So I want a clean signal going in and then I do everything in post. Yeah. Whereas you're set up for, it's like this, my streaming mic is set up to go in in pre, but it's not as good as the mic I use here. And I like when I stream just to be able to plug in and go. So I use a camera mic for streaming, and then I have that set up
it makes sense.
with all my presets and everything. But this just goes in a clean signal because this is the microphone I use for voice.
I'm not going to lie, that microphone just sounds superb. And I looked into those mics a couple of months ago. I was like, yeah, maybe in a couple of months' time.
Yours is a very good podcast mic. I'm not going to lie. Like it's got the especially when I edit, because I obviously edit yours in post, so we balance. But it's
it got a nice tone to it.
It does, yeah. This one's got more of a, I guess you can say, a true dyna. It's not. It's a kind of a mid-range affordable microphone, to be fair. But it's one I found in that mid-range that's got quite a nice dynamic range to it, and it doesn't really have a tone to it specifically. So it's a little more neutral, and when I'm going in with a clean signal, that's kind of what I want. So
it's been interesting because I've been looking at some point down the line upgrading this, but so far it's fine for what I do. But for a long time I was looking at the Shure SM7B, but it's sounding like they are so below what they used to be, where they were quality-wise. There's a lot of new mic coming out that just blow it out of the water. But for £100, you can't get better than this at an XLR mic, and it's decent. Yeah. And it does the job. How are you, apart from being ill still?
Yeah, I'm sick of talking about it now, to be honest. Like, yeah, I had to not work Wednesday, Thursday because I was so bad. Like, I was talking about that pain at the side of my head that I felt coming on. In the night, I felt like my face was going to explode. And don't know why. Genuinely don't know why. Probably should seek medical attention, but I waited a couple of days and it went away, so we're all right. It did go away fully, but like I think I had some sort of like, I don't know. Well, basically, I've got like remnants of probably some like sort of, I don't know, wisdom teeth issue or not even that, or something at the side of my brain here. Brain's there, down from brain. It's affecting brain, clearly.
I know what you mean. Even I know the brain's up here, not on the side of your mouth.
But well, it's just, the top of my gum just, like, I think it feels all cut up and everything. So I think it must have been something pressing on there. It could have been a remnants from a cold, an ear infection or whatever, and then it went in. You know when you get ill, and the old saying, when it rains, it pours. I basically feel like that happened. Yeah. And I'm still dragging myself through the weeks and stuff, but I feel alive enough to do the podcast. I don't think I'm going to be right as rain for a few weeks. I don't know what it is, but like...
You sound like you're stuck on permanent cold setting and you can't seem to get out of it.
I never used to be like this. Right?
You get old, mate, and then you get everything.
And then I got COVID twice, and now I can't. Yeah, my immune system's a bit weird at the minute. But yeah, I've also just shown everyone I've got a Yu-Gi-Oh top on.
Very nice.
Massive nerd.
To be fair, I've been paying a lot of attention to the whole Blink-182 stuff and getting rather excited for the announcement.
I know this is really bad, but I couldn't care less.
I know you couldn't, but I'm a massive Blink fan.
Please do indulge yourself. Tell me more.
So basically, I grew up listening to pop punk. I use the channel name, Punk Chef 41. I'm a punk, I'm an ex-chef, and when I made the actual channel, I was listening to some 41, and I was like, that 41 works at the end, I'll use that. So it just worked well. But I've been always into the pop punk stuff, and Blink were the...
Are you a proper punk then?
I'm a pop punk, but I do love my old school Brit punk from back in the day.
I can't stand it.
But
I know that's really bad. Like being a musician,
no.
You say you don't like the rebellious phase. I can't stand it.
No, I get what you mean.
I'm like, what are you doing to me? Carry on.
But I grew up. There's a Blink album that was very Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, and there's a song in there that hit me at the right time in my life, and it's all about family breakups and stuff like that. And at the time, it hit all the right lyrics, all the right thing, and it just was the album that got me through like a year of losing both my grandparents and everything in the same year. And it made me just feel like I had something to like vent out and listen to. So they've always been like it's weird because I mean, a safety band If that makes sense.
I get what you mean.
A safety ban. So, and
this went deep, by the way.
Yeah, I know it did. You told me to injured. But I've seen Blink so many times. So having them come back together, the original, well, not the original, because Travis was a brought-in member, but the original that everyone sees the original is great. But I did like it when they had the Matt Geber Day with Alkaline Trio, another band I love, and it was like a good mix. But hearing that they're going to be going back, and I think it's something like the 20th anniversary of the self-titled Blink-182 album, which was the I Miss You album.
Don't get me wrong,
it can be good.
I call them 182, and I know that's wrong. But I do like Blink. But I always preferred Sum 41.
Yeah, I get that.
Just a bit heavier.
Also, a little background to why I'm called Punk Chef 41.
There we go. There we go.
Do not go look at my old videos. The cringe.
His old videos.
The cringe.
He could delete them, but he's got like 17k views on a rowing machine or whatever it is. So he's not going to do that, is he? No. Should we talk Sheffield Wednesday at some point?
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
So, Sheffield Wednesday played Cheltenham this week. Talk us through it, Punk.
So, we started the game really fast, and it was really good to see us do well. And Josh Windass with a perler of a free kick really hit that well, and it's nice to see different people stepping up to take free kick, because for a long time it was Barry Bannon on free kicks all the time, and Josh Windass had got like, I want to go. So he takes to go. Bottom corner, superb free kick. But I'm starting to get little bits of issues with the Wednesday team. And granted, we won this game, and I'll get into that in a minute, but start taking your chances. We hit the post. We had it saved. We made all the right things. You remember last season we were talking about not finishing our dinner in front of net? It's that again. And Michael Smith is doing it. I think Lee Gregory just needs a goal. I think when Gregory gets a goal, he's going to be gone. But we made so many great chances. And if you actually look at that, 23 shots and 8 on target. That's pretty huge, but we only won 3-0.
We only won 3-0. Yeah, I know. I'll go through the stats in a minute. You keep discussing the rest of it. Yeah.
But it is the thing where you're looking at it. We only won 3-0. It felt like more, but they got into the game in the second half. Like they had a massive kick up the backside. Stockdale still doing Stockdale things, even though congratulations to Stockdale. That was his 500 career appearance, so which is great. But they did have some really good chances. But then Barry Bannon does what Barry Bannon does. Takes it, hits it, goal. And we don't go tap-ins at the club at the minute. Again. No. And
we haven't for a long time.
No. Ever since that Adam Reef spell, we just don't.
Yeah. Well, that's what has always concerned me as well. Because I'm like, we should be doing the simple things right, but we rely on these screamers.
Well, I think if Gregory's has gone in, which hit the post, it would have been a really good way of going right. Great. Problem is, we are a team that very much set up as we play well one half and then the other half we drop off. And it depends on which day you're going to be, which is going to be the good half and the bad half. And I think we also have spells of 15 minutes in game where we have a good 15 minutes and then a really good back end of a 15 minutes. We need to start making that into full sessions of like just keeping the ball and trying to hold on. Delhi getting a goal though as well. He was the difference maker in this game for me as well. Mighton played and he wasn't great. I'm not going to lie. I was calling for him last week saying he needs to get some time in the squad. He'd come in. I think it can be one of those ones where he grows into the team and tried to get in. I don't know if we're not playing him right or what. There were times where he went for the shot and there was an open man. But Delhi getting that goal was superb. And people has gone, why is he not starting? And I think for me, it's a mixture of I don't know if his fitness is there because we haven't been able to have him start week in, week out.
Yeah.
He's always had to like start a game and then come off or then be on the bench. I don't know if he's there yet, if you know what I mean. He's only like 21. That does come with time, but surely we need to start upping his, I don't know, something in training or something, up his stamina level to try and make him go through a full game.
Well, also there's a bit of he's trying to manage that midfield and manage everybody in it, you know, and keep some expectations in there. What I really enjoyed about the Cheltenham game, apart from obviously the win, was the 3 different goal scorers. So different goal scorers again, showing that this team, goals can come from everywhere. And technically, in terms of positioning what they're actually classed as, no strikers scored a goal.
No.
So,
and fair play to Ben Hennigan as well. Massive gash on his head. And also to people in my comment section, yes, I know I got it wrong. I said Pat Butcher instead of Terry Butcher. It was a long day. Thank you, Jed the Giant Chicken. It really did make me laugh. He comment. I said in it.
I don't know. I didn't follow this.
I basically said, and yeah, with the Pat Butcher style headband, I meant Terry and I couldn't remember his name. And Pat Butcher came out and he'd gone, "Get out my pub," this kind of thing. But
amazing.
But I also loved Darren Moore's interview at the end with Ben Hennigan saying the doctor said, "Got to come off." It was like, why? Too much blood. And I'm a defender. He's a defender. Crack on with it. I've played with broken noses, gashes. He's like, and I love the whole fact that he said, I said, "Do you want to come off?" He's like, "No, I'm just going to crack on with it." He's like, "I'm a defender. This happens." Is he concussed?
Yeah.
No.
You don't. I will say, you don't mess with head injuries. But
no,
and like, obviously seeing that, it's quite concerning him going back on, and you're like, oh, when you don't really know in the moment if he's if he is playing through something, because we need the strength from him there. But looking at the aftermath of it, it was fine, wasn't it?
Well, you find out at the end that he wasn't concussed, and I think if he were concussed, they would have just pulled him straight off. And
did they do what now?
They pull him straight off the pitch. Oh, you kid.
Yeah, he's a bit of a warrior at the back, isn't he? It's the fact that he's Big Ben as well, and he's said that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's that classic style.
But he wins every header. He doesn't mind. I'm going to say something here again. Putting his head where it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And it's that situation where we've lacked that for a while.
Yeah.
We have lacked that kind of thing.
It's been a while, has it, Jake? Yeah. Should we go through the stats?
Yeah, please.
So, Wednesday had 59% possession over Cheltenham's 41%, 23 shots to Cheltenham's 6. 8 of those shots for Wednesday were on target, so get the ratios up a little bit there. 3 of theirs, so half of their shots were on target. There was only 6 though, so numbers. We had 7 corners to their 2 and 9 fouls each on that one.
And Barry Bannon did a fantastic job being the referee, apparently, according to the
that was
Cheltenham manager. That was petty,
uncalled for. Like he was trying to be funny as well, and it was like you're not funny, mate.
It didn't land. You could tell he was looking around for people for the laugh. It's like, nope.
It was all I saw the video of it. It was awkward, wasn't it?
It's a bit cringe.
Yeah, but Wednesday moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
So more outers. You've just got to keep it in the drafts for another week, just in case we get a loss. Because
it's waiting. We know
it is waiting. It's waiting. I'm surprised because obviously we're not top of the league, are we? Teams around us are winning. They're probably looking at the table, going, "Oh, I can slate him again soon." It's all his fault.
Yep.
But what did I say last week? We needed a bounce back.
We got it,
and we did.
Yeah.
And the one thing I have seen is, we should be beating teams like Cheltenham. Yes, but last season we were terrible against teams we should be beating.
This is the thing. I don't mind us losing to Plymouth or the Ipswich, or somebody said about Portsmouth. It's like we drew with them first game of the season 3-3. First game of the season, you take nothing from it because it's each team getting into the season. And I think we played most of the top half now. Nearly. I think we haven't played Derby. We haven't played
Derby. Derby are only 10th, though, so just top half.
But we played most in the top 6 anyway. And the teams we got coming up in October, it's the teams I want to see will do better against than we did last season, because they are the teams that we normally mess up against. And the fact that we're finding ways to beat them, which is great.
We've played all the teams in the top 6.
So, and we're 3rd and we're on 23 points.
Yeah, so we'll do the league table first. So we are 3rd and we're on 26 points. Ipswich are in 2nd on 30 points. Plymouth are in 1st with 31 points. So there is obviously a gap there forming, but that's because Ipswich and Plymouth are on fire, right?
Yeah.
We had a dip, but we're back up now. But our form's not looked bad exactly, Draw, win, loss, draw. Not perfect, but you look at Plymouth's form, it's draw, win. They just can't stop winning, Plymouth.
The big thing on Plymouth is going to be their goal difference. They are starting to go a lot more goals, from this weekend. But before that, they were winning like 1 or 2.
Let me talk you through us playing the teams in the top 6, right? So, Portsmouth are 4th. We played them first. It was 3-0. Remember, we had that red card in that match.
Yep.
Who else? There's Bolton. We played them at their ground. We beat them 2-0. Okay, so that's one of them. Barnsley obviously beat us at Hillsborough 2-0. Ipswich we drew 2-0 with, and we lost to Plymouth. So, yes, I understand. Okay, we lost 2 of those matches. We drew 2, won 1.
Yeah.
So that's our 2 draws, 2 losses, 1 win against the top 6. At this stage, when you're beating the others around, that's not the worst.
No.
It's not amazing. Could have done with like one of those to equal those out with another win.
Could have been a win, but at the same time, you're looking at that and going, you know what? We're 3rd. This time last season, I think we're like 12th or something.
I couldn't tell you right now, but we weren't doing this. We weren't
great. No, and the thing is, that whole thing, Darren Moore, each time he's done, every time he's got the team right, he picked it. Yeah, we have got injuries at the minute. I'm not going to lie. And it's in the defensive positions, which is not great for us again. But the thing is, we got better depth to a point. I think where we're a little bit short on depth is up top, which might be something we address come January. But at the same time, you've got to think that, in theory, last season was Darren Moore's 1st full season. He got 4th place in playoffs. Now he wants to beat that and he wants to go up. He don't want to do playoffs. He wants to go up. The difference is Ipswich and Plymouth are just looking so good at the minute. But the big thing for me will be what happens when Plymouth have their first loss at home. Yes. Because it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back.
I've got this horrible feeling and I don't want to say it on air just in case it happens. But I feel like something might happen this season because I thought about it the other day when I was looking at the table for this document. I feel like we might finish 3rd, a couple of points or 1 just or so points off automatics. It's going to be that tight. And then we mess it up in the playoffs. I've got this sick feeling in my stomach. I'm sorry I've said it.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It feels a little bit that way. But the problem is, I have with that is that Darren Moore doesn't survive that. And the problem
he doesn't. He doesn't.
We will have to do another rebuild again.
Yeah.
And I don't know how well that will go.
So basically, we just need to win everything.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So we'll do the League One review for match day 14. We had Wycombe beating Oxford 1-0. Derby County got a red card and lost 2-1 at home to Port Vale. The fans weren't happy about that.
Oh no, I've seen that video.
Plymouth beat Accrington Stanley 3-0, and there was a red card for each player. I believe I saw this incident. It was the exact same challenge. They both got a red card.
Yep.
Bit of an odd one. Shrewsbury and MK Dons. And with MK Dons getting a red card, Shrewsbury beat them 2-1 at Shrewsbury's home.
And MK Dons looks in trouble.
You what, sorry?
MK Dons look in trouble at the minute.
Yeah,
they're in the relegation spot.
Yeah, I'm really annoyed because I should have gone with my gut. I wanted to put them lower in my predictions, but I felt like I was being too harsh just because they'd lost a couple of key players. But in my head, I was going, they could really tank. And I should have gone with my gut. I didn't do it. I hope that sniffle didn't come through on camera because I haven't got time to edit it out. So enjoy that. Bristol Rovers beat Cambridge United 2-1. Lincoln City drew 0-0 with Charlton. Ipswich Town beat Morecambe 2-1 away as well there. So
they had to come from behind though. Morecambe were winning that.
But it's that mentality, innit, coming from behind. Portsmouth drew 1-1 with Fleetwood. Peterborough and Burton drew 1-1. Barnsley lost at home to Exeter City 2-0. Exeter City, who've just lost their manager to Rotherham, by the way.
Oh, yeah, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Forest Green beat Bolton 1-0. So Forest Green beating a top 6 side.
Yeah.
And Wednesday beat Cheltenham 3-0.
Was that by any chance Connor Wickham going in that Bolton?
Yes,
game?
it was. Yeah, it was, because I looked at it. Yeah, Connor Wickham got the goal to beat Bolton. Right, moving on from this week's fixtures and going towards a transfer rumour in October. This is from Football League World. The headline reads as this: Darren Moore drops transfer hint amid Sheffield Wednesday links with Scotland-based player. Sheffield Wednesday manager Darren Moore admits the Owls have a strong transfer links with Scotland amid reports his side are keen on Motherwell's Max Johnston. Despite only being 18, Johnston is already starting to attract plenty of attention for his performances. The teenager is currently on loan with Cove Rangers in the Scottish second tier, where he has made just one appearance. So, I don't know why I said grr there. I was reading something about Gregory because this article has been phrased well. 1 week I've had to get back onto this document and I'm doing a great job of it. Anyway, when asked about the interest in Johnson, he was quoted by the Sheffield Star as saying, quote, "We have always had strong links up in Scotland. We've got things up north really covered. We've got our finger in the pulse in terms of players because it is a hotbed of talent up there. There are some good young players up there and we've got our finger on the pulse. And if the right one comes available and we think it's right in terms of taking the club forward, then great. But at the moment, at this time, I won't discuss any further with that. We have got our scouting network up there," end quote. Pretty what you'd expect from Darren Moore there.
And I know a Motherwell fan who I might be able to get some more information and find out how good he is or potential to be good.
All I'm saying is all it says is reports. There's not much more than that. It's just reports that's linking us to him. But what do you think?
It's a position we do need to upgrade on. Let's be honest. We do need to upgrade right back. And it'd be good to have another player in that we can develop and do well with, because we said this off air before we start, we don't develop players well, but this is a player we could probably do quite well in that kind of development stage, and depending on what kind of deal you put in there.
Yeah.
It's always, for some reason, when they don't seem to always do well with Scottish transfers from Scotland themselves. I
was going to say our best player is Scottish, but I know what you mean from the league. Yeah.
From the Scottish league, it doesn't seem to go well. Like, I was watching the game at the weekend, St. Johnson, and Stevie May came on. I was like, you could have been so good at Wednesday.
That's the first player that came to my mind as well, because wasn't Stevie May scoring for fun?
Yep, he was.
For St. Johnston, and and I was so excited because I was like, if we can get him scoring, but. Then again, it was that era of Wednesday signing players that didn't fit the system.
It was the Azerbaijan system years.
Yeah, it was that takeover that fell through. Yeah, it's a weird time for Wednesday, that was. Yes. But yeah, he had so much. I was so excited.
Yeah, ditto. It was like, they could be the striker we've been looking for and stuff. And it just never seemed to pay off for us. And it could be interesting what we do, because having a little bit of a link up there as well with Lee Bullen, it wouldn't surprise me if he's not like telling us like what player, but he might be going, look, there's a player I think might be decent. Go have a look. Kind of.
It would be nice to think he's still got the old eye on us back here, but he's
doing very well at the minute in his managerial career as well.
Yeah, fair play to Bullen there. So Max Johnston. Obviously, he's young. He's not got much experience under his belt. It's one of those where we'd have to get him on a permanent, really, to make it viable, because he's made 2 appearances for Motherwell. This is his breakout season this season. But we've had players where we've had their breakout season and then they've gone to a club to develop. Is this something we could do here? He's also been called up to the Scotland under 16 club, and I think he was also called up late to it says here, he was called up late to the under 19 squad, but it doesn't look like he played there. But yeah, he's highly rated across there. Where he's not highly rated, Jake?
Oh, I can have a guess. Is it FIFA?
It is FIFA, because we've always got to do the FIFA links because of the channel's roots.
Maybe you should sign him in your next career mode so you can develop him.
Because he's a 58 rated right back. with 74 pace, 27 shooting, 45 passing, 52 dribbling, 54 defending, and 58 physical. He's
Does that not fit your system?
No. Have you watched the most recent episode? I've just signed a new right back. He's doing all right.
Yeah.
He's doing all right. It cost me like 1.8 million. This is a plug. Go and watch the Sheffield Wednesday career mode on the channel. But no, I think we need to start doing the thing where we sign young players.
Yeah.
Rather than letting all our good players go. So I'd be quite interested if we've got good links up there, keeping an eye on these sort of players. And Palmer is coming towards the latter stages of his. We've got some very past their prime, even though I would say Palmer's potentially in his prime now.
I think, yeah,
right backs.
It's an interesting one because after this season, you're probably going to say Jack Hunt doesn't get a new deal.
No,
Palmer.
I'd say Palmer gets a new deal.
Palmer will get a new deal. Bannon will get a new deal. But you're looking at some of them, and I think we got nearly a full 11 out of contract in the summer, which is kind of scary.
We've got no contract after this year. I don't think we've got any contracted fullbacks. I might be talking out of them because I think Brown's contract's up as well.
Are you Gary Monking, guys?
Why?
Fullbacks out of contracts, get rid of them all.
But am I right though? I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about it.
No.
Like,
I think you are
Brown's,
right.
I'm not sure if Brown's deal ends at the end of the season, but because we've got James in on loan. Marvin Johnson, is he out of contract?
Yes, I think he probably is because I thought he was out of contract this season, and he kind of did that post saying he was in contract still.
I think Domayoff is probably the only technical, but he's not a fullback now. But he can play right back. But yeah.
The only one good thing Steve Bruce gave. Well, cheer for that, mate.
But yeah, I think if we are, that might again be incorrect information. But off the top of my head, I do think we've got a lot of out of contract fullbacks. So bringing in a young 18-year-old and starting to build for the future,
not a bad idea, is it?
Keeping on Palmer as one of the ones to mentor him, help him get into the club and show what's expected.
You could bring Palmer on as a coach as well. I think he.
I think you've got to do that really. But yeah. Positive signs if we are looking at young prospects that are doing all right quietly.
It's also nice to see us thinking about the future and not having this situation where we're stuck going, we've run out of players. Because that's something we have been poor at for a while, at not realising we need new people. I think that's where the goalkeeping position was a bit of a mistake.
Yeah. That's still up in the air as well. Okay, talking about players leaving.
I don't want him to.
No. The Star writes this as their headline. Concern at Sheffield Wednesday over Fisayo Delibashiru future as major deadline approaches. Quote, all parties remain in dialogue over the possibility of a new contract for the Owls youngster, but with his current deal set to expire in the summer, the former Man City youngster will be well within his rights to open negotiations with clubs outside of England in the new year as things stand. The midfielder was subject of interest from the Championship abroad in the summer, but Wednesday held firm. After speaking to the Star about the situation, Owls boss Darren Moore admitted the looming possibility of Delibashiru being able to negotiate with clubs, including clubs in Scotland, is a worry. Quote, of course it is a concern, he said. Fizz and his representatives know of our desire to keep him. They know it's clear to them. Clear to them. Just emphasising that point. What we are doing is staying massively respectful to the situation, and both parties have continued the talks. The talks have never elapsed or gone quiet. There has always been that desire to keep him on. End quote. I am concerned about this.
Yeah, ditto.
And it's not so much that I don't think the player's enjoying his time with Wednesday. I just think young players at this stage of their career, there's always that can you do better somewhere else sort of thing, and I'm worried this could be a situation here. The grass isn't always greener, as we've seen.
Yes.
But I'm concerned about this one. Your thoughts?
My issue with this is it's something Darren Moore said when he came into the club when they were talking about Liam Shaw at the time, going, while I'm at the club, that will not happen again. We will not have it where we have a player run out of contract when it needs to be. And the problem with this is you're going to have so many people, if this goes south, going, why didn't we just sell him in in the summer.
Our chairman, probably one of them.
Yeah.
Going, what's the point?
And this whole situation, I don't think Dele's unhappy at the club. I think he's happy playing for the club. I think there's a part of what's going on. It's like, is it someone asking for more money, or is it something slowing it down, or something like that? And we're not willing to do it yet. The nice bit of this whole bit is that they're still in talks and it's still going. I have a funny feeling we may have a November-October period where we had it with Dom Iorfa and Josh Windus, and they came out of nowhere. Deals announced, contract extended, done. It wouldn't surprise me who has something like a Palmer, Bannon, and Biz all getting out with new deal. But when will that be? Like, you were asking about who's out of contract in the summer. Reece James go back, Alex Myton go back, McGuinness go back. Barry Bannon, Jack Hunt, Liam Palmer, Callum Patterson, Lee Gregory, Dominic Iorfa, Marvin Johnson, Joe Byers, Josh Windass. I don't know if that one's true. I think
there's an extension on his contract, I think.
Jaden Brown, Dennis Adeniran, Biz.
Oh, God. Adeniran's off as well.
Yep. It's a lot of players that are just going to be gone if we don't sort this out soon. And this is the time where you start sitting down with representation and go, let's get your deal sorted. Because if you do this around, because the problem is, you might have some players who will go, I'll talk about it at the end of the season. Once the season's done, want to know where we are, I'll be done and gone. Done and gone, or done and stayed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The issue here is, especially because it's young players, they want to know what they're doing so they can settle down and put roots down. We've got some old players who might stay on for another bit longer because they might be happy, they might be settled with family. But when you're a young player, you haven't got any responsibilities as a family. You can go, right, I'll go here then. I do not want us to have a podcast where we have, oh dear, we've done it again.
Yeah,
because
that's too many videos like that, mate, to be honest.
It's going to do my head in. And if that does happen, I will very clearly say this is on the chairman. This isn't on Darren Moore. This is on the chairman. You get this sorted, or get someone in to help you get it sorted.
Yeah. Also, though, I will say that it's not just on our side, this as well.
No.
The fact is, it's from reading that article, Darren Moore has been very specific about the fact that we have made it clear where we stand on the fact that we want to keep him.
Yeah.
So there has to be give from both sides.
It sounds like the old...
It's a negotiation. It's how they
Clough.
work.
It sounds like the old Clough's thing of saying agents ruin parties. But the thing is...
And that's what I was alluding to with a younger football player with advice, you know?
But the thing is, when we've spoken to Dele in interview for the club website, he said, I don't get involved with that. That's nothing to do with me. Yeah. I leave it to other people. I concentrate on my football. And you genuinely believe that is the case with Viv, because he's just coming on from leaps and bounds. And the problem is, if we don't sell him, he goes on a free. If we sell him, we've got to give some of the money to Man City.
Yeah, I think Darren Moore makes a good point further in this quote in the article where he says he has huge potential and it's about channeling that potential. I'll say that again. He has huge potential and it's about channeling that potential and mindset in the correct manner. So he's basically, he's talking about his mindset of the player there, about reaching his full potential, but also I think that comes down to you need to get your head screwed on at this young age now, and you can develop at the club. You know, he's scoring goals in a side where, I'll be honest, you want to be having that fan base behind you. You know, you want to have that when you're developing. So, because I know a lot of players that sort of sidestep, but they sidestep to clubs that don't have that feel to them.
And he's obviously got a good relationship with some of the lads in the squad, because his celebration, I think he ran to, I can't remember who he ran to. He ran to somebody on the bench and celebrated with them.
Yeah.
And there's a relationship there. And the thing is, if he went say that's the case, my issue is, where do we have our bustling midfielder? Because he turned into that engine that we needed last season, and we said last season all he needed to do was get into that weight room, because he's pushing players off the ball now and just going with his speed.
Well, even that though, we said he was one of our most physical midfielders before he'd even done any of the work on that. You know, he had this natural physicality to him. So I think the kid. He's not that.
He's 21.
You talk about football in like I've been playing too much Football Manager. I think he's got a future in that midfield.
Yeah.
And it should be with us for at least a few more years. He's 21. He's in that situation where I say you could sign a 3-year deal and still be a 24-year-old and move somewhere else.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to consider.
Fingers crossed we get more news and it's just that he signed something.
Yeah. Talking about a player who has stuck around through a lot, I will say a shout out to like the interview Alan Biggs did with Barry Bannon, because I watched it all and it was a great watch. You know, a fantastic watch. He joined him on his Sheffield Live program. The band went on there ages ago. Fun side step. Yeah, ages and ages and ages ago. The radio, because there's a radio version and a TV version. Yeah. We went on the radio version and went in. But yeah, he does his Talking Sheffield, where he talks to both sides of the city in terms of football and things like that, doesn't he? But he had Barry Bannon on recently, and there was some really interesting quotes from Bannon in that. We'll go through a few of them. So he said, and quote, "It's never once come into my head since I've been here to leave this club. I've spoken about it with close friends and family and stuff. This sounds a bit bad, but I'm in football for the fans. Growing up in my family, we were big Celtic fans. The way I followed football, my family followed football, we were big, big fans of Celtic. And as I started to play and got lucky to make a career in football, the fans became a big part. Because I was a big fan myself, I take as if that's who we are playing for. It's not for ourselves or anybody else. We're playing for the fans, and when the fans are as big as or good as the fans we've got at Sheffield Wednesday, there's no need to leave. I've obviously had chances to leave, but I've had to take on board, is it really worth it? Is it a bigger fan base? You won't find many bigger supported clubs in the Football League, and even some teams in the Premier League haven't got the fan base we've got. When they take to you the way they've taken to me as well, my decisions have been quite easy, really. The only things I've had to take on board is how long I'm going to be here. If they still want me, I'm going to be here. Luckily, 7 years down the line, they've always wanted me to keep going and going. Until that comes to an end, I'll be here." End quote on that. So that's just sort of saying his commitment to the club there, really. And I just think he spoke really well in this. And I've never got on Barry Bannon's back, and I've not understood the people that have. And I know it's actually probably quite a vocal minority there. There was a trend in like on Twitter for a while, a couple of seasons ago, where people were just. I think a lot of people grew up with Barry Bannon in his championship prime.
Yeah.
So they were younger. They were probably like 14, 15 around those times. And then they got a bit older and wanted to say he was past it just because it was cool to say it was past it. He's clearly not past it.
No. And this is the weird one, because it feels like such a long time since we've had a player of his quality still stick around and say you want to be here and doesn't want to go. And he's had the opportunity to go but didn't. And that credit to us as a fan base, because we brought a player in who was playing for Crystal Palace, not getting game time, had a bit of an injury issues as well. And we took it, you can say in hindsight, it was a risk taking him because we didn't know what kind of player we were going to get. And it came to that January, when the season we signed him, I think he was on a 6-month deal originally, and then we put a proper deal in front of him. And
well, it was he said in the interview that we picked up the last year of his Palace contract. So we actually just took the contract on because he had another year at Palace, and we just took on the remainder of his contract.
Yeah. So it's always good that when you bring a player on, especially when he'd had the injury issues he'd had, and he was very much loved at Villa. Yeah. And he was very much loved when he was at Blackpool when he got promoted. And it's like, he was one of those players, you know, when you hear a player say they're looking for a home in a club, we were that home for him.
Yeah. And his kids now, like, it's the way we're talking about that. It's nice. I think it just shows. I'm going to read a bit more of the quotes from the article, because he says some really good stuff in this interview. He said, and quote, "I've got a vendetta that I want to finish here, and that's getting this club back to where they belong. I know he was referring to the Championship here. He used to say this about the Premier League, which makes me a little bit sad, going back into the article now. Yeah, I've had interest from clubs that have been higher in the league than Sheffield Wednesday. When we got relegated, I had a chance to go back to the Championship, and a team that had just got promoted to the Premier League, I had a chance to go there. P.S. It's Brentford. Nothing concrete, but if I wanted to force it, it could have happened. It was there if I really wanted to push it, but I was adamant that I didn't want to leave, and my agents were probably looking at me thinking, what are you doing? End quote. So that's the funny side of it, isn't it? Because this isn't just words either, because it was very solid at the time. We had a lot of players shaking it, shaking the faith in the club and just going for themselves. But we knew there was solid interest at the time in Barry Bannon, and we knew this was the links with him there, and he stayed.
But also look at when he signed his contract, when it was in the relegation season, we were pretty much gone. He said, no, I'm here to get this done.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay here and try and get it done. We all at first thought it's a clever move by Wednesday, gives us a chance to get some money for him just in case. But I wonder if that was him, I'm going to secure my future and just carry on playing.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, talking about securing his future, people say, oh, well, he's going to be on that ridiculous money, and they always talk about him being on like 40 grand a week in League One. Oh, well, he's on 20 grand a week in League One. And he said this and following, unquote. A lot of people speak about the money thing as well, so we can address that whilst we're on here, instead of Twitter spats. I'll just clear it up. When we got relegated, my money halved from what it was. A lot of people think my money never dropped, but I signed a contract in the January when we were close to relegation in the Championship, knowing that there was a chance that we could go down and my money could half. I'm not in the game for the money. Obviously, money is an added bonus. I'm in the game because I love playing here and I love playing in front of big crowds. Just to get it out there, my money halved when we got relegated. So I could have got more wages if I'd left the Championship or to a team that were in the Premier League, end quote. So basically, he possibly took a slight wage drop. I can't imagine he took a ridiculous wage drop on his Championship contract. But the halving side of it would make sense. And I'm not going to speculate that what he was on and what it halved to. But I can imagine Derby are paying the players more.
And the thing is, hopefully, this is...
And it shouldn't matter, man.
This is the thing. There was a really good one. I think there was a Cheltenham... was it Cheltenham? I can't remember the article. There was a journal. I think it was either the Cheltenham or... Was it Cheltenham? I can't remember which one it was, but there was the journalist that came out and said something. Barry Bannon came out and said, oh, so you know what I'm on? How do you get paid to put this nonsense out there? And every time it's a rival team, it's like, well, he's on 40 grand a week. We wouldn't be able to do the wages we got with everyone. It would break our wage structure in League One. So he's not going to be on that. The thing is, Barry Bannon is one of these dying breeds of the player, which you don't get anymore, who is loyal to a team. And I'm glad we got him.
Yeah. And honestly, he's like... I've got to say probably Forestieri is the best player I've ever seen in a Wednesday shirt consistently. But Barry Bannon's a very close second. But that's just because Forestieri had that flair.
Yeah.
That's showing my age. I am aware.
The one thing that always gets me about Barry Bannon, and it's the one thing you can never, ever criticise him for, he runs everywhere on that pitch. He chases every lock called down. He runs himself into the ground when he plays. He's always the one fighting for that ball. Yeah. Like when it was the fourth area in Barry Bannon day, it was perfect because you had two little terrier pit bulls running at the players to make the mistake, and then you get the other one get the ball back. And it was just the work rate he puts in when he gets the shirt on. And people say, oh, he's rubbish, or they'll say, well, he was non-existent. Sometimes it's not what he does when he's running with the ball, it's the pressure he puts without the ball, which makes the difference.
Yeah. And yeah, I hope this puts an end to the... It won't, but I hope I'd like to think it could put an end to the nonsense talk. Barry Bannon, I really hope he gets a new deal, and
I think he probably will.
Yeah. I think we'll give him a new deal. I hope he I worry if we don't get promoted that he'd want to try one more shot up. I know after this interview you think would he, but like, would he want to try one more? He'd need a payday somewhere, maybe. I don't know. But he has said he's not in it for the money. But
you don't know what he seems like the kind of footballer who's actually quite sensible with cash.
Yeah, and if he's done that, to be fair, if he's done that and he has been on 40 grand a week at some point, I think he'd be all right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, he got another little child coming soon. I think I saw on the Instagram they did a reveal they're going to have a little boy. So it was actually quite funny. So he kind of put it post. Not outnumbered this time. Yeah. But the thing is that the one thing that you get is whenever Barry Bannon does these interviews, and it's very rare, but when he does, he's always down to earth and to a T. And you can tell he got brought up properly when he was younger. And the thing is, you don't get this often. And the fact that we're still seeing him play week in, week out the way he does, and then find out he got this side on the other side, this personality that is caring and gives a damn about the club, let's be honest. It says a lot. And it would have been interesting to see what his thoughts were on some of the players that were jumping shit when we went down.
Oh, I'd love, Barry.
The WhatsApp group must have been awesome.
When you retire, come on this podcast and we can just talk. We can just talk off air about all the gossip, and then any bits you can actually give us for the podcast would be fantastic. But I would love to hear some of the stories. God, and we are quite quiet about that sort of stuff, actually.
Yeah.
Some of the drama. I occasionally drop a few hints.
We like to be respectful.
I'd occasionally drop a few hints. I probably shouldn't, to be fair. Sheffield Wednesday got it wrong with Conor Grant. So the Football Fancast have wrote this article basically talking about, we had a player called Conor Grant once.
I do.
Apparently
he left the season. Was it when we had Thompson in charge in that January, he left and then Darren Moore came in?
I believe so. Yeah, well, he's at MK now, isn't he? And he's apparently Liam Manning's been speaking his praises. He already has this is from the article, he already has 2 goals and 1 assist for Liam Manning's side. And he's been referring to him as like if he was a Spaniard, we'd all be praising him. Apparently, he's got that flair to him. So is this another one that Wednesday could miss? It's only I saw the article and I thought, oh, that's an interesting one. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. If Conor Grant could he be another one of the Wednesday ones that we've let go?
I think if Darren Moore came in that period where we sacked Tony Pulis, he probably don't go.
We sold him. We sold him though. It was we
made money.
Do you know what annoys me, man? Is when you sell players for undisclosed fees. That is part of what an academy is for. Not every player is going to come through the academy and actually get into the first team. Your academy has got to be something for FFP as well and keeping cash flow going.
Yeah.
Have you just been handed pasta?
Yes, I have.
Now you've made me hungry. Right. Let's move on to Cambridge. So,
yes,
the next match that Sheffield Wednesday play is on the 15th of October. Cambridge United, who have a record of 5-1-7, 16 points, 13th in League One. They have 4 wins at home, no draws at home, 2 losses at home. They have 1 win on the road, 1 draw on the road, and 5 losses on the road. So 4 of their points.
Them at our place. But this is a good game for Wednesday to have. Because having a club who does well at home is a better test to see where we're at.
Can I remind you, the last time we played Cambridge, they played a similar style to Wickham and Oxford. They were that stick all 11 men behind the ball and let's have a really bad time for 90 minutes.
That low cross block thing they like to do.
Yeah.
But there's a difference. We have a David Stockdale who will equally be like that.
Here we do. That's true. And we have ways around it. I say, rather than trying to pass this through the park, you go at them with the wingers.
Yeah.
That's how I'd approach this match.
It'll be interesting to see if Wilkes is fit enough for this because Wilkes is currently injured.
Yeah, what's going on with Wilkes?
I don't know. I think he was going to have a late fitness test on the Saturday, and he obviously must have failed it. The nice thing about this is us having no game time. We've got a chance to get a lot of the players who are got little knocks sorted. So hopefully we can get it sorted. I know Steve, who's sometimes in the live streams and stuff, he doesn't rate Wilkes at all. He thinks we shouldn't have bought him. He really thinks we should have just walked away from it.
Yeah.
And I said on Friday, he's had 4 games. He's only played 4 games. Let's give him a chance. But Wilkes is the player that needed to have that pre-season. When we were linked with him and we put that initial offer in, He needed to be in and have that preseason to go, right, because I think Wilkes is going to turn into a bit of a bias where we see a lot more of him come the back end of the season, not the start, where he got into the flow and he looked better. But the thing is, if we can go at these properly, and the thing, I like the partnership of Smith and Gregory. It worked well. Gregory's link-up play with him is superb. Windass playing as either a winger or cam works. The thing that you got here is, if we're going to do well this season, the chances we're making, we have to start burying them. We have to have another team that are like Forest Green, we batter, and then push on. We got the ability. We got the ability, and we don't take enough chances. If we can take the chances and just batter teams, we'll be up there.
Yeah, no, we did. Like, you don't need to be. If we can try and secure automatics by just battering teams that we are on paper supposed to batter. Notice my air quotes.
Yep.
Nothing's played on paper. Nothing is written like that. But if we could
if
we could actually be the team that everyone said we were last season.
Yeah.
And it's Sheffield Wednesday coming in. They look at their ridiculous squad. Boo hoo, cry me a river. If we can actually be that team, and then we struggle against some of the teams in the top 6.
Yeah.
We don't technically need to worry about that if we're going for automatics. The top 6 can beat us if we beat everybody else and just get enough points that way.
Rotherham, Wigan were a classic example. They lost most of the games against top 6 and went up automatics.
Yeah. Wednesday are always the team that do well under pressure. The big games, apart from the big games like the promotion playoffs and things like that. But like, if you ever put us on Sky, we'd always do well.
We do. And the thing is, going forward, there's a lot of positivity at the minute with how we're playing and stuff. And so far, we haven't seen a Darren Moore Fleetwood where he was steaming afterwards. And that's good. The thing is, I think I've said for the last couple of seasons that we have a bad January, we have an okay middle of February, and then from the back end of February to the end of the season, we turn into the team that just go on a run. And we need to have that consistently now. If we can I'm all right with like getting win, then an odd loss, and then go back to win. What I don't want is where we have a win, loss kind of thing. You know what I mean? They need to have a consistency of getting wins back to back.
We need to maintain like 2 points a game.
Yeah.
That is where I'm kind of like judging the acceptability of our performances and our form. Of how close we are to that 2 points a game scenario.
Yeah.
Which is why this season I'm not really throwing my toys out the pram if we lose.
No.
Because there's points
we're there.
Because there's points to be won and points to be lost.
I think I read something.
And we'll be there and thereabouts. And he's just got sacked, had he?
Yes. I think there's about 48 points to play for in October.
Well, you know.
Well, your Steve Bruce video will be doing well again.
Well, you know.
Always does. You're going to be really gutted when he actually retired from the game.
And on that joyous note, that's all I've got for you for the end of this week's Talking Wednesday. Anything to add this week, Jake?
Have fun. Don't go mental on Twitter at players or other fans. We all have their opinions, and just be nicer to each other.
Ah, that's nice. I don't care what you do. See you later.
Unless you text, you can just
Unless all right. Yeah, okay. Have a lovely week, guys.
I'll be talking to you on Twitter.
Have a lovely week, guys, and we will see you in the next episode of Talking Wednesday.
See ya.